Hey, welcome back to the MDS Guru podcast. This is Melinda. I'm your hostess. Glad you're here. Welcome back, listeners. Today, let's talk about the number of outpatient emergency department visits per 1,000 long-stay resident days. While reviewing the exclusions for this QM, was reminded that if the resident is enrolled in Medicare Advantage any time during the stay, that's an exclusion. And I had forgot that they have to be traditional Part A. One of the exclusions is, like I just said, if they were in Medicare Advantage at any time. Another one was if they were not a Medicare beneficiary. Another exclusion, did not have a quarterly or comprehensive MDS within 120 days prior to the resident becoming a long-stay resident. Of course, if the resident was enrolled in hospice, or if the resident was not in the nursing home for any reason during the episode. That translates to if they go to the ER and don't get admitted, that counts in this QM, but if they get admitted, it does not. That also includes outpatient observation stays. So if the resident goes to the ED and gets put in OBS, then that ED stay does not count against you. This measure has several covariates. I'm going to list them for you, but there's a lot of them. Rarely, never makes self understood. Rarely, never understands. The cognitive status is moderately or severely impaired. Rejection of care, wandering, the ability to walk 10 feet, shortness of breath with exertion, shortness of breath when lying flat, end-stage prognosis, internal bleeding, surgical wound, antibiotics, diuretics, chemotherapy, radiation, oxygen, tracheostomy care, ventilator or respirator, IV meds, transfusions, hospice care, speech therapy, respiratory therapy, cancer, GERD or ulcers, septicemia, CVA, TIA or stroke, neurogenic bladder, quadriplegia, MS, Parkinson's, respiratory failure, or entered the nursing home from a psychiatric facility. That's interesting. There's a lot of covariates for that QM, so just go over it closely and you will be able to see what is triggering for you. I have seen a program in place to control hospital outpatient visits one time. And it was not an urban setting, it was a rural setting. And the nurses were instructed to call the DON or the management nurse before they sent someone to the hospital. That wasn't a lot of fun, and there was some kickback on that because the nurses didn't like having to, quote, get permission, end quote. But it worked, and the readmission to the ER was 0. Many times, if the nurse sounds confident when she contacts the physician, they will put interventions into place that negates an ER visit, but not always. The other QM we're going to talk about is long stay percent of residents with new or worsened bowel or bladder incontinence. There are some exclusions. If it's an admission assessment or a 5-day, if the stuff about pressure ulcers is dashed, if they're comatose, have a catheter, an ostomy, no prior assessment, those all are things that are exclusions for the worsening of bowel or bladder incontinence. You're always going to want to audit your prior MDS answers for bowel and bladder continence. Some other covariates I will list for you are daily decision making, short-term memory, the BIM score is less than or equal to 7, and of course, needing ADL help for sit to lying, sit to stand, walking 10 feet, or wheeling 50 feet. You know that if bowel continence was a 0 on your prior assessment and then now it's changed to a 1, 2, or 3, or it was a 1 and now it's a 2 or 3, or if it was a 2 and now it's a 3, this is going to trigger. And like I said, examine your prior assessment. Same way for bladder. If it was a 0 or 1 and now it's a 2 or 3, or if it was a 2 and now it's a 3, basically if their continence has changed and why. You know, you're going to want to look at why. Maybe they had a UTI. Maybe they had a physical illness like pneumonia or something like that where they wasn't able to get around very well and it's temporary. You know, those are all possible things. Those are the 2 QMs that we're doing for today, and I've only got a couple left in this series. If I've missed any, you let me know. continue to send me your questions. Let me know if I can do anything to help you. You guys have a good week. Until next time, thanks for listening. Bye.